In the bustling student town of Lindora, two inseparable young women, Zinzi and Laloma, were known for their deep bond. Their friendship stretched back to childhood, where they shared everything from school lunches to heartbreaks. While Zinzi came from a comfortable home with supportive parents, Laloma had grown up in a child-headed household. Despite the difference in background, the girls were tighter than braids on a Saturday morning. Their bond carried them through to university, where they continued their traditions, sharing clothes, secrets, and the occasional prank. When they aced their semester tests, they decided it was time for a little reward. A trip to Club Mirage, the local student hotspot, seemed like the perfect way to celebrate. Dressed in Zinzi's best clothes, both girls stepped into the night like queens of Lindora. At the club, amidst the strobe lights and overpriced cocktails, a short, peculiar man approached them. Dressed in designer wear and dripping with gold, his cologne couldn't quite mask the overpowering stench of his feet, like boiled socks marinated in garlic. The girls, a little tipsy and a lot amused, nicknamed him Mr. Stinky Feet behind his back. Despite his odor, Mr. Stinky paid for their drinks, meals, and even offered them a ride back in his black G-Wagon, complete with a silent driver and a bodyguard. He asked for Zinzi's number, but as per their long-standing tradition, she gave him Laloma's. What began as a joke quickly turned into something else. Mr. Stinky, whose real name was Tobo, called often. At first, it was entertainment, a means to a free meal when student wallets ran dry. But over time, Zinzi noticed that Laloma stopped talking about him. The giggles turned into secretive smiles. One day, Zinzi saw that Laloma had changed his contact name from Mr. Stinky Feet to Tobo with a heart emoji. Something was definitely up. When Zinzi confronted her, Laloma admitted she liked him. Really liked him. Zinzi teased her mercilessly, calling her Mrs. Stinky Feet, and they laughed until their sides hurt. But things changed the day Laloma asked Tobo for money for food. To their shock, he sent $10,000 within minutes. They stared at the bank notification like it was a winning lottery ticket. They hadn't even had $1,000 in their accounts before, so $10K felt like wealth on a biblical scale. Tobo kept sending money. Another $10K for shopping. Flowers. Chocolates. Champagne. And not once did he ask for anything in return. Not a meeting, not a kiss, not even a selfie. Just calls and gifts. Laloma's home life improved, her younger siblings were eating better, and her confidence soared. 7 months later, he sent a message, "Honey, I'm home." He invited her to a luxury hotel in the city. Laloma was nervous. Still a virgin, she didn't know what to expect. When she asked if she could bring Zinzi, he agreed. The hotel was elegant, but something felt off. Their room was plush, the food divine, but when Tobo finally appeared, it wasn't in a grand entrance. He was seated on the balcony in a blood-red robe, sipping wine. His presence was eerie, his voice soft and cold like the whisper of death. The room, previously warm and inviting, now felt like a crypt. Sheets were missing, and the temperature dropped unnaturally. When he offered them drinks and they refused, he chastised them with a voice void of emotion. Out of fear, they accepted. That was their last moment of clarity. Everything that followed felt like a lucid nightmare. Tobo began to speak in a strange language, his tongue black like charred leather, his eyes glowing red. 2 older women emerged silently from the bathroom, dressed in red, their faces pale and blank. They undressed the girls, who were too dazed to resist. Then came the snake. Not metaphorical, not a hallucination. A real, massive serpent slithered into view, black and green, with eyes like molten gold and a head the size of a football. It coiled itself around Zinzi's body first. Cold. Heavy. Alive. It slithered up her thigh, wrapping tighter and tighter until she could barely breathe. Laloma screamed but couldn't move. Her body was frozen, as if under a spell. And then came the worst. The snake forced itself into Zinzi. There was no other way to describe it. It felt like ice and steel and agony. She passed out from the pain, blood leaking and staining the pristine hotel sheets, if you could call them that. Luloma fainted soon after. When hotel staff found them the next morning, both girls were barely conscious, bleeding, and shaking. The paramedics rushed them to the hospital. Nurses gasped. Doctors called for tests. Blood and worms were found in their bodies. Zinzi's womb had been ravaged beyond repair. And as for Tobo, he disappeared. Security footage showed him entering the room with the women hours before the girls arrived. The footage then showed them calmly helping the girls out, as if they were sleepwalking, and checking out right after. The room was spotless. No evidence. No snake. No red robe. It was as if the horror had been scrubbed from reality itself. Luloma never recovered. Emotionally and physically, she deteriorated. 2 months later, she passed away quietly in her sleep. Zinzi, left wombless and alone, now carries the burden of a story no one wants to believe. Like and subscribe for more stories like this.